Competitive Pokemon is a game that changes so often. New rule sets that come out every couple months allowing new Pokemon to shine and gain viability with new metagame rule sets and new Pokemon being introduced. With these changes, some Pokemon become stronger, while others become weaker. Such as Pelipper getting better due to recently gaining Wide Guard to protect itself from moves like Glacial Lance and Astral Barrage from powerful restricted legendaries. Some Pokemon, however, get worse, such as Landorus when Incineroar came out. Since Incineroar's Fake Out, Parting Shot, and overall better defensive and supportive stat spread, Landorus has fallen off in usage-wise, at least the Therian form. Well, today we'll be talking about these changes, but on a larger scale. We'll be talking about the generational changes that completely saved or destroyed a Pokemon. We'll be talking about 3 for each side. Indeedee is a great Pokemon, and a large part of that reason is due to its ability Psychic Surge, which blocks priority attacks, such as Extreme Speeds, Jet Punches, and also priority prankster moves, such as Taunt or Will-O-Wisp. This is very good for a support Pokemon like Indeedee. Indeedee is supportive because of its Trick Room and Follow Me. Oh yeah, and Trick Room is the main reason why it's so good this gen. Trick Room, well, it didn't have Trick Room actually in Gen 8. It only has Trick Room due to Terra Raids, which was a glitch, and only the male version was meant to have it, but now it's here to stay, I hope. I hope it's there in the next gen. Combining Trick Room with Follow Me and Psychic Surge to block Fake Outs makes this thing an absolute menace. It can also enable other special attackers to go crazy. Expanding Force is a move that makes Indeedee teams dumb, like really, really dumb. You can have a Pokemon with Expanding Force that is fast or slow, it can be any, and then they can just spam the move Expanding Force. Expanding Force, for those who don't know, is 80 base power special move that is Psychic typed, that doubles in damage and hits both opponents' Pokemon, but only if Psychic Terrain is active. With that, Pokemon can just freely spam that broken move, and then Indeedee can use Helping Me, Follow Me, Trick Room. They can set up Trick Room if they want to do it. So if they want to do it faster, if they're running a slow Pokemon, and invest more into their bulk to make them be able to spam more. So it's just a nightmare to face Indeedee size spam. It doesn't even have to be on size spam teams, as I've mentioned earlier, with it just being an overall helpful little guy. With Helping Hand, it can make its partners do more. With Follow Me, well, Follow Me is one of the best moves in the game, because you can just make somebody follow you when you're one of the most bulky Pokemon. Well, one of the most, not even the most, well, one of the more bulky Trick Room setters, and then the other guy can set up Trick Room for Indeedee and itself or attack. Another reason Follow Me is so good when you're using Trick Room is you can have 2 Trick Room setters. So you have Calyrex Ice, which is one of the best partners for Indeedee. You can do many things with it, such as Follow Me Indeedee, and then setting up Trick Room with Calyrex Ice. Or you can use Trick Room and protect Calyrex Ice. Or you can do Helping Hand Glacial Lance, or Follow Me Glacial Lance. There's a lot of things you can do with Indeedee, and those are just the main 2 archetypes. Indeedee Male is even doing pretty good with it winning a regional recently. Overall, Indeedee getting Trick Room is just such a great thing for it, and it allows it to be such a great Pokemon, even better than it was in Gen 8. Lapras was actually pretty good in Gen 8. A big reason for its success was its G-Max form. Lapras' G-Max form allowed for it to set up Aurora Veil immediately, which is the best defensive position in the game. It combines both a light screen and reflect, allowing for it to be immensely bulky combined with the double HP gained from Gigantamaxing, making it unbelievably bulky, and also its partner unbelievably bulky. Eliminating this thing was so hard, and while you were trying to eliminate the impossibly bulky Lapras just sat around dealing huge damage with his other moves. Lapras was a menace in early Sword and Shield, and currently, it's not, sadly, at all. As you all know, G-Max is no longer in the game. This massively hurts Lapras. Its one cool thing it could do is now permanently gone. The G-Max form was the sole reason it was good and unique. Now, if you want to set it up with Aurora Veil, you can just use Ninetales, who also sets up the snow. There's also just way better ice types, and having a bulky water ice type who doesn't deal a lot of damage isn't the greatest in a format like this. Also, there's another water ice type who's a lot better. There isn't just reasons to really justify using Lapras unless your name is Wolfie VGC and found the little niche way for Lapras to get no guard sheer cold by combining Golurk and Bronzong for allies for whatever the move that switches abilities is, I forget. But that allowed Lapras to have a little niche in a little tournament. But other than that, Lapras is borderline unusable now in Scarlet and Violet. There's barely anything to do. Another powerhouse from Gen 1, but in VGC it was not really ever a powerhouse until Gen 9. Dragonite's ability Inner Focus got buffed in Gen 9 to also stop Intimidate, while originally stopping Flinching. This combo is absolutely insane. This combos so well into Intimidate Pokemon who aren't about 50% of teams nowadays. And a lot of the Intimidate Pokemon in Incineroar have Fake Out. So being immune to both is extremely good for Dragonite considering it's a physical attacker. And that attack set of 134, it's good that it's hard to lower it. Like only parting shots and stuff can really make it fall down. This new little buff isn't even the full picture on why Dragonite is so good this gen. Dragonite is one of the best Terra abusers in the game. Dragonite's original typing has a 4 times weakness to Ice, which is not the greatest. It also has plenty of other weaknesses to common types like Dragon and Fairy. But with Terra, you can lose the type, and you can do a bunch of other types that work extremely well with the Dragonite. One of the best ones is Terra Normal Choice Band. This one, with its 134, makes E-Speed, which is the best priority move in the game, with 80 base power and its normal type, and with Terra Normal, boom, explosion, Vine Boom sound effect, your whole team's dead. And next to Chien-Pao, which is the most common with next to it, with a 25% defense reduction on all Pokemon, everything just dies. Yeah, and also you can hold a life orb. Choice Band isn't even the only way to run it. Now in Reg H, well, I wrote this video a long time ago, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, this was during the restricted format era. But that was, restricted formats is where it is the worst. But with any other format, it's pretty good, honestly. Well, most other formats. You can run it as a support with Haze. You can run it bulky with Assault Vest or Multi-Scale, its other ability that halves damage at full percent. You can run Terra Normal on it Terra Flying, Terra Blast on it for insane damage and utilizing its strong flying type into the strong grass types of the formats like Rillaboom and Amoonguss. It also has such a wide move pool with a low kick stomping tantrum, extreme speed, fire punch. It has a good special move pool, but that doesn't really matter. So overall, Dragonite is absolutely amazing in this format, downright phenomenal. And I hope it stays this way in Gen 10 because he's just a cute little guy. Charizard was not good until Gen 6, where it was granted one pretty good Mega form and one amazing. The Y form was absolutely terrifying. Being able to set up the sun and having partners like Chlorophyll, Venusaur help it, and just being strong in general due to having a 159 base special attack that can fire huge sun-based moves, such as Heat Wave or Overheat, eliminating almost everything in its path, leading it to come second place at, I think, the 2014 World Championships. Then we got Charizard X, who wasn't as good, but still pretty good, with the ability Tough Claws, making its physical contact moves do even more damage. It helps a lot with this Charizard due to its new 130 base attack stat, and it could utilize Dragon Claw and Flare Blitz to make the most of it. Dragon Claw being 104 base power and Flare Blitz being 144 with the attack boost. Many sets often ran Dragon Dance, so that you could get even more speed and even more attack damage off of this guy. And then Gigantamax came around, and Charizard had lost both of its great forms, and granted another great form. Gmax Charizard is absolutely crazy. Gmax Charizard, you know how all the Gmax moves do boosted damage? Well, imagine that in the sun with Charizard's OG ability Solar Power boosting all its attack by 1.5, in the sun, which is another 1.5, and then the attack damage from that, and usually a damage boosting item such as Life Orb or Choice Specs. That is terrifying. Gmax Charizard could almost kill anything in the game with that setup, with common partners like Groudon to cover for some of its weaknesses. Even neutral attacks could wipe out full Pokemon, and even some restricted that were flipping at full HP. Do you know how crazy that is? And this led to Charizard coming into second place at the World Championships. My goat is on that Robbie Keane mindset. Oh my goodness. But anyway, now that form of Charizard was gone. And in Gen 9, he got nothing. He got nothing. They didn't give baby any love. Game Freak didn't give their special little baby boy any love. Very sad. Well, Charizard is one of my favorites, but okay. Anyway, Charizard isn't really that good in Gen 9. And there are two Pokemon who have kind of replaced the role it filled. Remember how I talked about Solar Power being such a great ability for Charizard due to boosting its damage? Well, there's another special attacking fire starter. It was better now. That is Hisuian Typhlosion. I know Typhlosion's kind of weird, but he is very good. Typhlosion has always lived in the shadow because it has always been fast and fire off huge moves like Eruption, but it was able to be faked out, and with that, Charizard could be a little better because it does a little bit more damage, and both can be faked out. But now, Hisuian Typhlosion can't be faked out. And if you're wondering if that gained an instant viability, it did. It also got a special attack boost with a speed decrease. That doesn't really matter too much because it's mostly run on Tailwind and Psy Spam. Its moves in the sun do crazy amounts of damage, which is leading a lot of people to run some other weather boosters like Pelipper or Tyranitar to counter this absolute behemoth of Hisuian Typhlosion. And then there's another Pokemon that also replaces Charizard, with that being Chi-Yu. Chi-Yu, even when Charizard has Solar Power and is in the sun, does less damage than Chi-Yu due to its ability Beads of Ruin lowering the special defense stat of both other Pokemon. And Chi-Yu is just more of a useful Pokemon in many other scenarios than Charizard. And if you want to run a Sun team, you can just use Chi-Yu because they both main thing of using Heat Wave and Overheat, which is what Chi-Yu can also do. This leads to Charizard not really having that much of a niche in Gen 9. But of all the Pokemon, I think I'm most hopeful for Charizard in the future because it's Charizard. He's like the second mascot of Pokemon. He's probably going to bounce back in the future. And if they include Megas again, Charizard is going to be absolutely crazy. Zamazenta was without a doubt one of the worst restricted legendaries of Gen 8. It was completely outclassed by its counterpart Zacian in about every single way possible. Zacian was fast, but Zamazenta was slower. Zamazenta was strong, but Zacian was way stronger. Sure, Zam had the defensive bulk with its ability, but special attackers could damage it. Still, physical attackers would have a harder time, but you'll always have a special attacker. Zacian's ability hit everything. It didn't matter what it was going against. Everything it was going against was going to die to it. Zom had an amazing signature move, though, that did double damage to every single G-Max Pokemon. But Zacian had the same exact move. Overall, Zacian just has everything over Zom, giving it no real niche. Then, one move, I'm not even joking, one move, and Zamazenta is one of the greatest restricted legendaries ever. Body Press. Zamazenta gained Body Press. Zamazenta was a puzzle with missing one piece, and Body Press was that one missing piece. Body Press is an 80 base physical powered move that is fighting type, and it works off the attacker's defense. And remember Zamazenta's defense stat and its ability that boosts its defense? Yeah, now it has ability that works off it that is also stab. So now it can weaponize its bulk using a 2-for-1 combo. Its ability makes its defense stats stronger and makes it stronger essentially too. It's hard to lower its defense. You know how you lower its attacks with Intimidate or Parting Shot? You can't really lower its defense that much. That is absolutely terrifying. Zom can also use Iron Defense to boost its attack, essentially, because it's using its defense as its attack. Or you can run Wide Guard to make Astro Barrage, Precipice Blades, Origin Pulse, Glacial Lance all do nothing. In restricted formats, Wide Guard is one of the best moves, and it has access to it. Its bulk is so good. And even its special bulk is decent, and weaponizing its physical bulk is crazy. It is so hard to take down. Fighting Steel is a pretty good type, too. All the great things I've said about Zacian in the previous section were true. But I want to add, it's amazing type, too. Steel and Fairy are such a good type combination. With Steel being the best defensive type and Fairy being the best offensive type, makes for great utility. It also has a great move pool, with Play Rough, Behemoth Bash, dealing double damage to G-Max Pokemon, and also got access to Sacred Sword to have more coverage against Steel types, which it can't really hit, and also Swords Dance to make its attacks do even more damage. But then, how'd it fall off? Well, in Gen 9, it used to be able to switch in every time it swapped in, it would get an attack boost. But now, it doesn't. And they also nerfed my boy's attack stat. They also nerfed Zacian, which they didn't do to Regieleki, which is kind of funny, with its counterpart, Regidraco. But they did indeed nerf both of them. But Zacian didn't get anything cool. It just got nothing. It got 2 pretty big nerfs, and then one indirect nerf, which I don't feel like a lot of people are talking about. The indirect nerf is the Clear Amulet item. This item makes Pokemon immune to stat decreases, such as Intimidate, which is the main one, which is held on a lot of physical restricted legendaries, such as Koraidon. But this guy can't hold it, and Intimidate is on a lot of teams. So, its defense stat just becomes normal, and it can't really be, and it can keep on being downgraded with switching out Parting Shots, unlike other Pokemon. And it can't hold an item due to the Rusted Sword, making it go into its insane ability with its high speed and attack. And right now, other legendaries just outclass it. On the physical side, you just got a lot of Pokemon who can actually, do things. Zacian doesn't really. It doesn't have anything special. Sure, it's very fast, but Shadow Rider Calyrex is faster. And if you can have a lot of other Pokemon like Koraidon who can get a Flame Boost charge and Flare Blitz and set up Sun, but Zacian's more of he's not an enabler. You can't really. It's hard to build teams around Zacian, unlike other Pokemon. That's a big reason on why Zacian fell off. But Zacian isn't horrible. But going from the second best Pokemon into the game to being on the mid side of restricteds is something that's not a good look. Thank you all for watching that video. And I have a second channel called Football Triple Gaming with VGC and channel and tournament analysis. So if you want to check that out, feel free. And remember to have a good Tuesday.